playmate, come out and play with me, and bring your dollies three. Climb up my apple tree, shout down the rainbow, slide down my cellar door. We'll be jolly friends forevermore.
There, little darling. Daddy'll be home soon, home from work. Did you have a good day?
Harry, John, and Ezra?
Coffee's hot. Want some? Guess what? Marta turned over for the first time today.
Carrie, John, and Ezra?
This is the story of family, of man the father, of woman the mother, of child the product of their union, the object of their love. Family, man, woman, and child, together, growing, playing, learning. Milk to drink, bread to eat, clothes to wear, a warm house, songs to sing, books to read. These are a part of family, a part of one of the most pleasing and difficult challenges under the sun. The challenge of setting up goals and earning through hard work, hard play, and careful planning what is needed and what is wanted. The challenge of living in a changing world, a world of machines and rising prices, a world demanding expensive education for all who are to have a chance. This is the true story of three families. Families talking about themselves, their lives, their needs, their dreams. Men, women, and children trying to meet the challenge of family under one roof. Mrs. Beatrice Edwards delivered her first child at age 16, her last child at 41. A quarter of a century of childbearing. Altogether, 4 sons and 7 daughters, 11 living children.
As far as I'm concerned about a big family, it's nice to have, providing if you can provide for them. But in our case, sometimes we felt like we hadn't provided for them like we should have on account of jobs. You know, if you have a good, steady income coming in and can kind of meet your responsibilities, there's not that worry and tension so much.
Responsibilities and worry. Feelings which are well known to Carl and Beatrice Edwards as the mother and father of 11 children. Children who need a place to sleep and need to be clothed and fed.
About the biggest problem we have outside of paying debt is we have a food problem. We are not able to buy all the necessary foods we're supposed to buy for them. I found that powdered milk works pretty good, but I kind of use the canned milk to make the cream. It works out pretty good when they'll drink it. We have some that'll drink it and some that won't.
11 children needing to be clothed and fed. 11 children needing to be cared for and wanting to be loved. A heavy burden for Carl and Beatrice Edwards. A big job for any 2 people.
When they were small, the oldest one took care of the next one, and the next one took care of the next one, and it was also down the line. And then each child is different, and you don't know who's getting the most affection. Because one might feel like he's not getting enough affection, and the other might feel like it's not getting enough affection. And so it's just a little toss in between there. Then, of course, in our case, I'm out working, and someone's taking care of my children, you see. My husband's not working, so someone's taking care of the children, so that's just the way it goes.
That's just the way it goes. Not a lack of love, but so little time to spend with each child. A love which must be shared among 11 children, leaving few hours in the day to give each child the love and attention he needs. So little time for so many. Supporting 11 children means working day and night. Carl Edwards works days as a janitor in the public school system. Beatrice Edwards works the night shift in the housekeeping department of the local hospital, 11 p.m. to 8:30 a.m., laboring during the sleeping hours to help clothe, feed, and educate her children.
To my way of thinking, now every child is college material. And in our case, I don't think we'd be able to afford to send 3 or 4 to college at one time. I tell them the best thing to do is get a high school education, then go and take a business course for themselves where they can go to work clean and come back home clean. Not like me. Go to work clean and come home dirty. That's right.
Beatrice Edwards has come to recognize the problems that go with the family that grows too large, too fast.
Keep 'em fat and barefooted. Yes, sir. Don't agree with it at all. Although sometimes I think I was that lady with so many of them. Because at one time I had 3 in diapers at one time. At one time. It was some kind of birth control device out, but it's just one of those things. But if the birth control pill was out, and I do mean if it was out, I would have used it, because it would have been no more than taking aspirin. I would have put it where I would have to see it and wouldn't forget it. I'm aware that the birth control pill doesn't serve every woman the same. But you take the birth control pill, and if it doesn't agree with you, your doctor will straighten that out for you. You put yourself on a good doctor, you know, and he can advise you whether you have 1 or 2 or 3, according to your health. Of course, I was under some good doctors, too, and they advised me, too. But from 11, you see, I didn't pay them no attention when I should have.
Let's go in the house and change our nightclothes, huh? Let's go.
I like what a family here I know did. They had 2 children. They got those children up to about the 9th grade, and then they started 2 more children. Well, when those 2 children were out of high school, they still had those 2 children in the home. Family planning is the answer. I should say about 2 or 3. That's the limit. And I don't mean 2 at one time or 3 at one time either. No, sir.
With young children still at home, Beatrice Edwards will have heavy responsibilities for years to come. going about her life as she has, but looking ahead to the future when her own children, from first to last, have made their own places in the world.
I don't have much outside activities. I go to church occasionally. I do all my visiting on the street. And as I say, I like to go to rummage sales and thrift shops. I'm looking forward so I can travel, even if I have to travel with a cane. I want to fly. I want to ride on a boat or a ship or whatever it is. I like hospitals. I like hospital work. I want to be so where I don't have to do the type of work I do now. I want to be so I can be sort of like a great lady, a volunteer worker.
Like Beatrice Edwards, Maggie Johnson became a mother for the first time at age 16.
I got married when I was 16, and the baby was born before I was 17. I didn't want any, I thought, but my husband, he said that he would like to have 4. I said, all right, 4. But then when I got the 4th one, it looked like I couldn't stop.
At age 25, Maggie Johnson had given birth to 8 children, 1 child every year for 8 years.
It finally gets you down. I think you should wait at least 2 or 2.5 years, at least, but I didn't. And then finally at last, I just started getting weaker and weaker, and I knew it was against me. So then the doctors, they kept telling me I was going a little too fast for my age. So I thought it was time I'd better slow down. And then I had a miscarriage. One of the children died. And then after that, I wasn't strong anymore. The mother should have time to get her strength back. And then I guess the mother has to be healthy to have healthy children.
With 7 living children between the ages of 1 and 8, Maggie and Ralph Johnson, together as man and wife, and with the advice of their doctor, decided for both the mother's health and the future welfare of an already large family that they would have no more children.
One thing is, everything is so high and everything, and it takes so much to feed and clothe a bunch of children now. You gotta have enough space for the boys to have a room and the girls to have a room. And then especially in the wintertime when the weather's bad, they're going to play and they've got to have some space to play in. I want all of them to go to school, to finish school, and as far in college as they possibly can. It's so important now.
It's so important now. Today at 31, her youngest child 7, Maggie Johnson works long and hard to help support her school-age children. By day a teacher's aide in the elementary school where 6 of her sons and daughters are enrolled in grades 1 through 7. From 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. each night, a factory worker. Ralph Johnson works from sunrise to sunset in the shipping department of a local furniture firm. At night, he too is a factory laborer.
It takes so much, and I'm so sure if both of us didn't work that we couldn't make things meet. Because with everything as high as it is, we just couldn't make it. I've always worked, you know, As the babies get big enough, I'd go back to work.
"7 years have now passed since the birth of their last child, and free time is still a dear thing for the Johnsons. Yet during the last few years, since their decision to practice birth control, Maggie and Ralph Johnson have come to know a greater enjoyment of their relationship as man and wife.
Really, when you got a little baby, it takes up most of your time. They was all so little, like a little hubble at one time. One wasn't much bigger than the other one. When we had the little ones, we could never go anywhere. When we was first married, I just thought I just couldn't stand him to use anything. But I was sort of all up. Every time I was just so sure, and I just didn't want to right then. And now when I feel like I'm not, well, like I can relax better, and it's a lot different. I think when you feel that you isn't going to get pregnant, you have a tendency, that's a little different feeling there. Because then before, I just felt that just every time I was going to get pregnant, which I did, I guess. And now, when you feel that you're eating, I think you enjoy it a lot better.
Joan Cannon, aged 29, is the mother of 4 children aged 9, 7, 5, and 4 months. For Joan and her husband Jim, a construction worker, supporting and rearing 2 sons and 2 daughters is a day-to-day matter.
It's a matter of what we're going to eat and so forth, instead of thinking about the future. Every day is the same. I usually get up very early, and we have breakfast, and 2 of the children go to school. And then I clean house, and I wash clothes, and I cook. And our meals aren't very interesting because we use a lot of foods like dry beans, and that isn't bad, but it involves more work. We never consider things like TV dinners because they're more expensive. I'm always very tired when the day's over. I enjoy it, I'm glad to say, because if I didn't, it would be very unfortunate. But I would like to have spare time for myself, alone, just to be bored.
Spare time for herself. Time to enjoy her children.
I don't have time to actually play with them, and I think they would like that very much. And I think it worries them some for me to be so busy with the chores continually.
Well, I don't have any rag dolls or anything like that, but I have some dolls that I've had for many years, and I don't call them dolls, I call them children, just like Ezra calls his bears. Their names are Marta, Greta, and Martha. I usually have them dressed, but sometimes I don't have clothes for them, so they have to stay in bed. But I always give them breakfast. I'm sure to do that. But most of the time they have clothes because my mother seems to think it a hobby to iron. So they don't have to stay in bed much. Sometimes I bring them in the living room and I take very good care of them. I feed them, I take them to the hospital if there's any emergency or injury. Once, Marta, the smallest and the youngest one, swallowed a bottle of kerosene. So you can be sure that I had to hurry her off to the hospital. And I don't even know what the doctors did. I was so upset. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe I'll be a good future mother after all.
I think it is very important to have spare time. It doesn't take very much to make me happy. But if I can just visit a friend occasionally, it makes so much difference. It's very difficult to even think about how I'd enjoy myself if I had the time.
For Joan, the responsibilities of the mother in the home. For Jim Cannon, as father, the concerns of supporting his wife and children. Because of medical bills, loss of work, and the day-to-day expenses of buying food and clothes for 4 children, the Cannon family has recently had a hard time making ends meet. Jim and Joan are concerned about the future of their family.
We've thought about limiting our family off and on ever since we've been married. When we think about, can we afford another child? Should we have one?
Since Martha the baby was born, I think both of us now have made a definite decision not to have more, because it would be an impossible situation if we did.
It's going to be a necessity from now on. Things are pretty hectic right now, and even if we were to find ourselves better off, a little more stable, well, the family is more or less complete now with Martha Ann.
Families thinking back, looking ahead, aware of the responsibilities of the world in which they are living, and the demands on their own lives as father, mother, and child, under one roof.
Everything is so high and everything, and it takes so much to feed and clothe a bunch of children now.
It's a matter of what we're going to eat and so forth.
A big family is nice to have, providing if you can provide for them.
I want all of them to go to school, to finish school, and as far in college as they possibly can. It's so important now.
So they can go to work clean and come back home clean, not like me. Go to work clean and come home dirty. That's right.
The mother has to be healthy to have healthy children.
But I would like to have spare time for myself, alone, just to be bored.
I'm looking forward so I can travel.
But now when you feel that you're eating, I think you enjoy it a lot better.
Family planning is the answer.